Hey there, let's talk about science for a minute. We're going to strip away all the complicated stuff and show you that it's not some scary subject just for geniuses. Actually, it's something incredibly natural, something that's literally built into who you are.
So, when you hear the word science, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's something huge, right? We look up at the night sky at these incredible galaxies swirling millions of light years away, and we just wonder. And that feeling, that curiosity, that's exactly where all science begins.
But you don't even have to look that far. You can find that same sense of awe right here on our own planet. Just look at the majesty of these massive mountains. Science is all about asking, how did they get here? What lives on them? How do they change everything around them?
And then we dive even deeper into these mysterious worlds hidden under the waves. So whether you're looking up at the cosmos, across at the mountains, or down into the ocean, it's all driven by this one powerful thing, our desire to understand. Okay, so it's easy to look at all of this, galaxies, mountains, the deep sea, and feel a little small, right? It can make science feel like it's a million miles away from our everyday lives. But what if that's not true at all? What if I told you science is much, much closer to home? Because here's the secret. The real engine behind all of science isn't a supercomputer or a fancy laboratory. Nope, it's something we're all born with. It all boils down to one simple, powerful question that we all start asking as kids. Why? I love this definition from our source material. It says science is a way of thinking, observing, and doing things to understand the world we live in. The key phrase there is a way of thinking. See, it's not a big book of facts you have to memorize. It's a process. It's something you do. And you've totally done this. I mean, who hasn't stared up at the sky and wondered, why do stars shine? Or looked at a garden and thought, how does that flower know it's time to bloom? Those questions, that natural curiosity, that is science getting started. Here's a brilliant way to think about it. Science is like a giant jigsaw puzzle that never, ever ends. Every single discovery is a new piece we get to fit in. But the cool part is, the more pieces we add, the bigger the puzzle gets. Every answer just leads to more exciting questions. All right, let's bring all this cosmic stuff right down to Earth. Like, really down to Earth. We're going to use this way of thinking to solve a little mystery you've probably faced 100 times, the case of the broken pen. So, picture this. You're writing, maybe taking notes, and all of a sudden, your pen just dies. The ink stops flowing. What's the very first thing that goes through your mind? What's your first move? Almost without thinking, your brain jumps to a conclusion, right? A logical guess. Or, as a scientist would call it, a hypothesis. And it's probably this: the ink ran out. Makes sense. It's usually why a pen stops working. So what's next? You run a little test. You do a quick experiment. You pop open the pen, take a look at the ink refill, and nope, it's still full. So your first guess was wrong. Now what? Do you just give up and throw the pen away? Of course not. Your brain is already back at it trying to solve the puzzle.
You immediately come up with a new guess based on this new information. You think, okay, well, if it's not empty, maybe the ink just dried up right at the tip. See? You're already refining your theory. Okay, hang on a second. Pause right there. Because what you just did in your head, that simple little process, without even realizing it, well, that's the whole point. This is the big reveal. That simple, automatic, step-by-step way you tried to figure out what was wrong with your pen, that, my friends, is the scientific method. That's it. It's not some crazy, complicated formula. It's just a really logical way to solve problems. I mean, look at this. It lines up perfectly. You observed a problem. The pen stopped working. You questioned why. You made a guess. The ink is empty. You tested it by checking. And then you analyzed the result and made a new guess. You did the whole thing perfectly. Okay, so now that we've kind of cracked the code on what this method actually is, let's zoom back out again, because this way of thinking isn't just for broken pens. It's for, well, it's for everything. And this is really the heart of it all. It's not about having a PhD or wearing a lab coat. Anyone who follows these simple steps, observe, question, guess, test, is thinking and working like a scientist. Period. Seriously, this way of thinking works for everything, from the biggest things you can imagine to the smallest. The same kind of curiosity that makes an astronomer wonder about a distant galaxy is the exact same kind of curiosity that makes you wonder what ingredients make a dish taste so amazing. The scale is different, sure, but the method is the same.
Just think about all the everyday scientists around you. A cook in the kitchen wondering why the doll boiled over. That's an experiment. A mechanic listening for the tiny hiss to find a leak in a tire. That's observation and testing. An electrician checking the bulb, then the switch, then the wires. That is pure scientific method in action.
So what's the big takeaway here? What do we do with this? We embrace it. We just need to lean into that inner scientist that's already there inside all of us.
It's really all about keeping that sense of wonder alive. It's about looking at the world from the stars above to the tiniest bug on the ground and just allowing yourself to ask questions. Never, ever stop being curious about the incredible mysteries all around us.
And I want to leave you with this fantastic line from our source material. To be a wise person, you must be a wise person. Because wisdom isn't really about having all the answers. It's about having the curiosity to never stop asking questions. So go on, be a wise person.